Land has proven to be the most reliable form of real estate investment since the inception of man. And I don't think that value, that intrinsic value of land is going to move away anytime soon. In this video, we'll be looking at the 6 very important reasons why I think you should buy land in 2026 in Nigeria if you have the money. My name is Eze Maximus and you're welcome to my YouTube channel. Here we discuss strategies and ways you can invest in real estate in Nigeria profitably without any fear of losing your investment. Do well to hit the follow button, the subscribe button, and of course like this video, and of course comment what you learned at the end of the video. This enables YouTube to show this video to people like yourself who are searching and looking for ways to invest profitably and securely in real estate here in Nigeria. So in this video, like I said, we're looking at the 6 solid reasons why I think that you should buy land in Nigeria in 2026. And of course, I said earlier that land is the most trusted way and the safest way to invest in assets in any nation of the world if done properly. Underline that word, if done properly, because you still can stand the risk of losing your money if you go about buying land the wrong way, right? Okay, so we're looking at the 6 solid reasons why I think that land is something you must add to your investment portfolio in 2026. Number one point here, the number one reason why I think you should consider buying land in 2026 is the high capital appreciation potential of lands. Lands appreciate the highest in any form of real estate investment in the world. In fact, when the word appreciation is mentioned, one of the first things that comes to mind in the mind of many investors is land. Across all asset classes, you could mention your gold, you could mention your rental income, you could mention any other form of asset, you could mention your stocks and your bonds. Lands have proven to be the surest way of capital appreciation year in, year out when it comes to investments. It is secured, it is safe, it is predictable. Unlike many other forms of assets that you can put your money into that will not be able to promise you that assured returns on investment, that predictable returns on investment. For example, if you put your 5 million in a location like Igweta or Magba today, you are rest assured that as long as you bought that property right, as long as the documentation of that property is intact, in the next 12 months, you are going home with at least 100 to 150 returns on your investment. That is not the same case with your rental income. In fact, before you raise your rental income, you must have collected the same amount of rent in that same property for at least 5 to 10 years. In most cases more before you begin to think about raising your rent value for that location. And in most cases, if development is leaving the location where your house is to another location, you'll be forced to reduce the amount of the rent you collect annually. And that is what actually makes land to be, for me, one of those things that you must consistently look at if you want to grow your money using real estate as an investment strategy this year in 2026. So buying land assures you capital appreciation. It is assured. It is a fixed outcome that if you put your money in land the right way, if you bought that land the right way, your money will definitely appreciate, right? So higher capital appreciation is one of the reasons why I think you should put your money in land in 2026. Number 2 reason why I feel and I think and I know it is in my spirit, and I'm here to tell you that you should consider buying land in 2026 is the high urbanization rate in major cities in Nigeria. Many cities in Nigeria are being forced to develop. And what is actually mounting that pressure on those city centers are population outbursts. Nigeria is projected to hit at least 250 million this year, and by 2050 we are looking at upwards of 400 million, and 70% of these people are going to be living in the city centers. We are talking about the usual city centers. We're talking about Lagos, which is already maxed out. A lot of pressure is on that city. That city is actually crying for breath when it comes to real estate and housing deficit. We're talking about Abuja, we're talking about Port Harcourt, we're talking about Kano, Enugu, the usual corporate city centers. 70% of these 250-400 million Nigerians are going to be living in those city centers. And this is what is forcing these cities to urbanize, to develop. So the city centers that are just in Nigeria, that those few city centers in Nigeria are actually developing fast. And for many investors, they look at Nigeria as a whole unit, which is not bad. But if you look at it from that lens as an investor, you might make a great deal of mistake thinking that Nigeria is majorly underdeveloped. But that is not the fact. Those who are moving their monies right, those who are seeking the right advice, those who are meeting the right people to advise them as to their investment, are putting their money in those city centers that are absorbing 70% of this population outburst we are experiencing in Nigeria. And of course, if you bring your money and buy lands in city centers or outskirts of these cities that are absorbing this 70 to 80% of Nigerians' population, of course, you are positioning yourself for a future that's almost here with us. That means that when the demand for buildings start coming, those your land you already bought last year, last 2 years, will of course be the first to be considered. And when it is considered, definitely people will be living on it. And that means it's either you sell it to people who are willing to build on it and rent out, or you yourself build on it and you rent it out. Or you can even choose to keep it until it appreciates further before you sell. So urbanization is driving one of the reasons why I think you should buy land in Nigeria in 2026 if you have the money. That money you would have used to go and do oblate, to go and have fun somewhere, bring it and put it into land this year. In the next 12 months, you will look back and thank yourself for taking that decision. The number 3 reason why I think that land is one of the things you should buy in Nigeria in 2026 is because it's a low maintenance asset. It is one of those things that you put your money into and you don't need to come back to it to start repairing it. Unlike your electronics, unlike your cars, unlike your houses, like land is one of those things that when you buy, you don't have the necessity to come back to it to start repairing or to start fixing anything. Even if it catches fire, it is the grass on top that will burn. The land is still there. Rain falls on it. Let's say, for example, it floods up. When the dry season comes, it clears up and the land is still there. So it's a low maintenance, asset that you just put your money. Make sure you, first of all, make sure you buy the right way. If you got that land the right way, just go home and sleep. You get. It's just low maintenance. It's a no-brainer. You don't need to start thinking about, repairs, start thinking about fixing, start thinking about, transferred costs and all those things. It doesn't suffice when it comes to buying land. So it's one of the reasons why I think you should consider buying land in Nigeria in 2026. You don't need to maintain anything. Just buy it first the right way and you go home and sleep. The number 4 reason why I think that you should consider buying land in Nigeria in 2026, the fact that it's a leverage. It has collateral value, right? It has collateral value, and by extension, that means it's a leverage. Lands that have perfect title like the C of O, you can literally use it to borrow money either from private individual, private entities, or commercial banks. Is a known fact. So in most cases, life happens to many people and they look back at their past decisions and when they used to have money and they begin to ask themselves, what did I use that 10-20 million to do last 2 years? They literally left it in the savings account and gradually depleted it from withdrawals or from any other thing that must have happened, from partying, from taking care of bills, from taking care of family, which is necessary. But assuming they took that money that they wasted or they spent last 2 years and plowed it into a land, perfected a title into a C of O, and life eventually happens to them 2 years further the line, they could literally take that C of O to a bank, tender it and get a loan and use that loan to probably ease off some financial burdens at the moment, or even start a business for themselves, and that way their life comes back on track. That is the power of buying lands now that you can, because you don't know what tomorrow holds. I'm not praying that anything bad happens to you, but these are some of the things that befalls us as humans on this planet. So you must constantly look at land buying as a way of leveraging your future in case of any future untold occurrences, right? So buy land for the sake of its collateral value is important. And when you buy land, make sure you also perfect it with C of O, because most cases Most banks are only listening to your land document if it is a CFO. And of course, we here can help you to perfect your land titles also. So if that is what you want to do well to hit the link in the description of this video, and of course we'll get chatting and help you to perfect your land title. The number 5th reason why I think you should consider buying land in 2026 is because it is the best form of banking. Yeah, this might sound new to you. It is the best form of banking. So there are two types of banking: land banking and cash banking. Over the centuries, over the millennia, it has always been proven right that land banking has always outperformed cash banking for so many reasons that might not be able to contend in this video. Inflation-wise, your cash in the bank is being eaten up by inflation. Security-wise, you can't compare, both banks have folded, and at least at the end of the day, you are given, I think, a threshold of 5 million naira at the end of the day, or anything that CBN must have placed at that point when the bank folded. So you can't compare land banking to cash banking. And for everybody that I have advised as an investment advisor, I always tell them, put 80% of your excess cashes in land and 20% of it in bank, because at the end of the day, the money you're saving in your land is bringing in more returns for you than the money you're saving in your bank. It's a no-brainer. So I don't want to dwell so much in this point. So land banking as a strategy is one of the reasons I think you should put most of your money into land. And of course, I mentioned earlier that it is low maintenance. You don't need to come back to it often to come to probably repair things or fix one or two things. No, unlike your house, that if you build it, you need to keep repairing the roof, the fittings, the furniture and what have you. That is not the same case with the land. So land banking as a strategy is one of those reasons why I think you should try to buy a lot of land in 2026 in Nigeria if you have the resources in your hand. And I know that many of you watching this video do have the resources. Talking about 2, 3, 4, 5, 10, 20 million. Bring it and plow it into a real estate investment. Of course, we have great locations here in Port Harcourt, Nigeria, that promises you 100 to 150 returns annually. Don't you want to be a part of that? So reach out to me and let's get working. Then finally, but not the least, of course, there are so many reasons why I think you should bring your money and invest in real estate in 2026, is the fact that it is a way of preparing for the future. It's one of the best ways to prepare for your retirement, right? So it is one of the fastest ways to prepare or to retire yourself from day-to-day, work, from day-to-day hustle. It is the best form of way to prepare for your future. So I tag the intergenerational wealth transfer. So you begin to plan for your future today through land banking, through buying lands, honestly. Any other form of ways you must have put your money might fail you. If, like I said, the banks might fold, inflation might come in and eat up the value of your money into two at the end of the day, and you were saving 300 million last 10 years or last 20 years. At the point of you trying to move on those monies to your children's or your children's children, it's still 300 million, but in value, it has been halved by inflation. That's not the same case with land banking or buying up land. So this is the fastest way to prepare for a future of retirement. So you can look back at maybe the next 20 years after your service, and you're looking back at the decisions you took last 4 or 5 years, and you're thanking yourself that you bought lands, and those lands can now be able to take care of your old age and make sure you don't have the stressful and sick-filled old age, because you don't have the money to maintain and buy the things you need to do to take care of your old age. I believe I've been able to give you 6 solid reasons why I think you should think in the direction of buying lands in 2026 if you have the resources. Like I said, there are several other reasons why you should buy land in 2026, but these 6 stand tall for me, and I believe I've been able to enlighten your mind and help you position you for the right decision with those your millions in your bank account. And if this video interests you, and of course I know it did, do well to reach out to myself or my team here at the Realty, which is a choice real estate investment and development company here in Port Harcourt with 4 years of development experience, service more than 1,500 clients within the space of these 4 years with no dissatisfied client. That is a worthy trophy I'm telling you that we need to wear all the time. So if that interests you, we have great projects here in Port Harcourt, from Ishokbo to Omawa to Igrita to Eneka to Rupoko to South Road. We have great locations where you can bring your money and buy lands in, and in the next 12 months, you'll be smiling to the bank with returns, massive returns on investment. So if you're watching this video to this point, I want to especially thank you, because you've actually done what 90% of people who come on this platform do not do. Do well to hit the subscribe button, like this video, and comment what you learned from this video. And if there's anything you want me to talk about as we get related investment generally, please do well to drop it in the comment section. I'll be right there to look at your thought patterns and help you navigate this rigorous real estate investment industry that we are in here in Nigeria. So thank you for watching the video, and see you on the next one.